All right, so I have done a lot of videos over the past 10 years talking about switching the feet, and my position has always been the same. A lot of the athletes who watch this channel are brand new beginner young athletes, and a lot of coaches that watch this channel are brand new beginner young coaches. They've never thrown before, they've never coached before, maybe they are a jumps coach or a sprints coach that now has to learn how to coach throwers, and they go online, they go on social media, they go on YouTube, and they watch some of the best throwers in the world, from the Olympic Games, the World Championships, NCAA Championships. They see all of the broadcasts, they see the YouTube videos, and they always see the shot putters switching their feet, reversing their feet at the finish after they've thrown the shot. So the question then always gets sent in to me, and this question was actually sent in through my Instagram. If you want to go check that out, that's Coach Matt Ellis under Instagram. Someone sent me a DM and was having trouble switching the feet. He said, you know, I'm switching my feet, like I'm throwing, and I can't help but leave the ground. I'm not intentionally trying to switch my feet, it's just kind of happening. And how am I supposed to finish? How am I supposed to switch my feet if I'm not leaving the ground, if I don't jump, if I don't come off the ground a little bit? Before I explain this to you a little bit more, I wanted to state something that is a pure and simple fact. Switching the feet is not jumping. They are two completely different things. At the end of their throws, the top level, elite level, strong, forceful, explosive, powerful, top of the top throwers in the world, they are not jumping and throwing. So they're not jumping up in the air and then throwing the shot. That's not what is happening. And what I always try to explain to people is, if you picture an NFL quarterback and they're getting chased out of the pocket, so you've got a linebacker, whoever is coming after the quarterback, and the quarterback's running with the ball, and then the quarterback sees a tight end or a receiver across the field, and they run, and they jump in the air and throw. Does that throw have any power behind it? Does that throw have any force behind it? Not really, because they're really just jumping in the air, they're leaving the ground, they've lost the connection with the ground, they've lost their support, and they're just basically arming the ball. Now, compare that to, again, an NFL quarterback. They have the last couple seconds of the game, they've got a 50-yard Hail Mary to try to score a touchdown and win the game. Do they jump in the air and throw the ball? Absolutely not. They are given as much time as they possibly can. Ball gets sent back to them. The linemen give him as much time as possible. He steps back, sets his feet, and then throws a monster 50-yard bomb into the end zone to try to score that Hail Mary play. Obviously, the throw that has the most power is that Hail Mary. The throw that has the most power is when the quarterback is able to set his feet. It's not when he's jumping in the air and trying to throw the ball. You can even do this at home. I know we're all on sort of a coronacation right now. You can see by the haircut that I've got that it's the COVID-19 epidemic is going on right now. So we all have time. Go in your backyard with your brother or with your dad or with your son or whoever, jump in the air and throw a football to them. No power behind it. Keep your feet on the ground, throw a football to them, a lot of power behind it. And it's the same thing when you're in the circle, when you're actually throwing, and as a young thrower, as a brand new beginner thrower or a brand new beginner coach, when you are starting to throw. A lot of those new throwers and those new coaches see those elite level throwers switching their feet. They reverse their feet as a method of staying in, and it looks like a jump and a throw, but really it's not a jump and a throw. They are pushing down so hard. They are creating so much force with their lower body, creating so much power with their legs that it's a reaction. It's not intended, but it's what happens, is that they actually leave the ground. So if you are someone who has extremely strong legs, if you have an extremely strong lower body, if you have been throwing for a long time, if you understand the positions in the circle, you understand how to generate force, you are explosive, you are a trained, explosive, powerful thrower, then yes, when you produce all that force with your legs, more than likely you are going to leave the ground. But it's not intentional. You are not intentionally leaving the ground. You are creating so much power with your legs that it's a natural, uncontrollable action or reaction that your feet come off the ground a little bit. And hopefully what I'm going to show you right now is going to explain this a little bit more. So without trying to sound like too much of a jerk, hopefully this doesn't come across the wrong way. When you're first starting to teach and when you're first starting to coach brand new throwers, you kind of see different levels. So if you want to think of this as like 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, or the first season, second season, third season, their evolution as a thrower, you kind of get three different people. And I'm going to show you what they look like, okay? Let's get, it's a 4 kilo shot, but it'll do. So you get the brand new throwers that are just learning how this all works. So they're just learning how to put their feet in the circle. They're just learning how to get the shot up against their neck correctly. They're just learning how to put power, how to put weight on this back foot. And their throw kind of looks like this. They're like down here, they don't really get it. Their form is kind of and then it turns into like a kind of a slow and steady, everything is at one speed shove. It doesn't look like a good throw. It kind of looks like they have been taught what they're doing, but the pieces haven't been put together yet. Now, the second type of throw is the jumping throw. Normally you see this with your intermediate throwers. End of freshman year, sophomore year, they've been to a bunch of track meets, they've seen some top level competitors in their area, they've seen the state level, state championship caliber athletes, and they've maybe thrown against them or been at the same invitationals as them, and they see them throwing, and they watch, and they're like, that guy's feet left the ground. That guy's jumping and throwing. Maybe I should jump and throw. Makes sense. Coach always has us doing all these squats. Coach always has us doing all these jumps. Coach always has us trying to use our legs. He's always talking about using our legs, delivering power, being forceful. So coach must mean jump and throw. Now these athletes, they have a better understanding of where to position their weight. Their form and technique looks a little bit better. They're getting over their back leg. They've got, okay, now I can feel where I can produce this power. They come out of their glide or they come out of their rotation and they do one of these. They get here and they go. They jump and they throw. Then you've got the third thrower. Now this is your elite level. This is your high level thrower that understands a lot of the big necessary things that have to happen to have a good, successful far throw. They understand how to use their lower body. They are extremely explosive. They are extremely strong, extremely forceful with their lower body. They understand and they get in great position. So now all of their weight is back. They understand the sequence of how to come out of a power position and deliver the ball. And they understand blocking. So they understand that in order to transfer as much force as possible into the ball, to deliver that ball and throw that ball as far as possible, they need to block, they need to stop, and they need to transfer that momentum, transfer that force into the shot. Now because they understand this, they throw and leave the ground. The combination of all of that force being delivered with their lower body, transferring through their body, transferring through and down their arm into the shot, because they are blocking correctly, now they can't help it. It's a reaction, okay? They leave the ground. They're not intending to jump. It's just a natural reaction of what occurs. It's basically a reflex. Like when you go to the doctor and they hit you on the knee with that little hammer and your knee goes up, you don't mean for your knee to go, for your foot to go up. But when they hit you in the knee, it's just something that happens. It's just a natural reaction. And that's what's going on with people who switch their feet. They don't intend on leaving the ground. They are creating so much power with their lower body. They are blocking so hard and correctly using their technique and using their levers that it's a natural reaction. It's a natural occurrence that their feet will leave the ground. So they look something like this. Now, believe me, I haven't done a hard throw like this in a very long time, so this might not be the best looking thing in the world, but I'm going to try to generate as much power with my lower body and block as hard as possible by grounding my left foot and pulling my left arm in, stopping this left side to allow that force to transfer into the ball. But this is what it'll look like. You're here, you're going to ground so hard that you can't really help it. You just have to switch your feet. All right, I went back and I looked at that throw and I give it maybe like a 5.5 out of 10. It was not the prettiest way to explain exactly what happened. So let's do it another way. Let's give you another example. So you've got your brand new thrower. If you remember from the video in the circle, brand new thrower, not a lot of force, not a lot of power. Basically, when you look at a standing throw or you look at the finish of a glide or the finish of the rotational technique from a brand new thrower, they kind of just like sit down, they bend their legs, and then they stand up. They kind of go up the same speed that they go down. That's pretty much what it is. So they're in the power position, they bend their legs, they kind of stand up and throw. They're kind of like here, and they're kind of here. There's not a lot of force being generated. There's not a lot of oomph. There's not a lot of pop. There's not a lot of power. Then you've got your jumpers and throwers. So jump and throw. This is kind of what it looks like. They go down and they jump and they throw. It's up, throw, down. Okay? Then you've got the people who actually generate so much power and so much force with their legs that they can't help but leave the ground. So I'm going to try to push the earth down. I'm going to try to put so much power into the ground that my feet will naturally leave the ground. It's a reflex. It's just something that's going to happen because I'm trying to push so hard with my legs. Ready? Down and so I push down as hard as possible, my feet come up. Down and I'm not jumping. I'm pushing so hard that my feet leave the ground. I'm pushing to full extension, blocking, I'm stopping my body, and the reaction is that I pop off the ground a little bit. Now, let's show those same 3 examples when I'm holding a 15-pound dumbbell up against my shoulder. So, brand new beginner thrower, got the shot up against their neck. They're standing in the circle, they're going to bend their legs and do a standing throw. Again, they don't really understand it, they're just going to go down and up. Looks like this, down and up. Okay, dumbbell kind of wiggled a little bit, there was no force, there was no real block. I just kind of stood up and the dumbbell was stuck to my shoulder. Now, let's look at the intermediate guy who sits down and jumps. And I want you to keep an eye and I want you to see if the dumbbell actually leaves my shoulder. That's a light dumbbell. 15-pound dumbbell is lighter than a men's shot put. So let's see what happens if I jump. Now a lot of people are going to say, dude, as soon as you jump, as soon as you leave the ground, that thing's going to go shooting out of your hand right through the ceiling. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to stay nice and loose. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to jump. Sit and jump. Let me show you again. Sit, jump. Didn't leave my shoulder once. Now, let's see what happens if I push the earth down as hard as possible. I try to produce as much force as I possibly can with my legs. I abruptly stop my body when I get to vertical. I block. As soon as I get to vertical, let's see what happens to the dumbbell. Ready? So, I'm going to stand up as hard as possible and stop at the top. Pretty weird, right? Let's do it again from the top. Down and up. Down and up. Now, I'm not throwing it in the air. I'm not standing up and throwing it. I'm producing power with my legs and transferring into the dumbbell, transfer into the dumbbell. I'm pushing the earth down. I'm not jumping and throwing. I'm pushing and letting that transfer into the dumbbell. All right, so that's just some stuff for you guys to all ponder at home. I know for a fact that a lot of you are still going outside right now, and a lot of you are still throwing, and you're making it happen, whether that's just standing on your sidewalk throwing into your front yard, or standing on your patio throwing in your backyard, sneaking onto your high school or your college throwing area to get some throws in, maybe just all alone by yourself with you and a camera like this or your phone, okay? If that's the case, there is still a lot of help out there for you. There's these free videos on YouTube. There's Instagram, which I'm already have put a link to, but we'll put it up again down here at the bottom of the screen. Make sure to give me a follow. And on the website, Elite Throws Coaching, I just redesigned the website to give you everything that we offer. This is like the social distancing COVID-19 coronavirus website. So we do video analysis, we do online coaching. You can still buy products, discuses, and bags from us. We have a lot of available things, ebooks, DVDs, stuff that you guys can go online and grab to help you out during this time of year. Believe me, when we get back up and running, maybe that's indoor season during the winter, maybe that's USATF or AAU during the summer and the fall, maybe that's next spring, there's going to be those really good throwers that are getting out there, that are practicing, and that are making sure that they are staying ready. And there's going to be the people that are sitting on their couch playing video games, eating Oreos, that aren't going to lift any weights, they're not going to do any throwing, they're not going to practice. And the people that are working hard, the people that are practicing, are going to be better than those other people. Be one of the better people. Keep working, keep going outside, keep practicing, and if you need the help, Instagram, Coach Matt Ellis, or maybe it's Coach Matt Ellis, the camera's a little backwards right now, or EliteThrowsCoaching.com. Thanks again for checking out the video, everybody. Hope you are all staying safe and healthy, and if there's any questions, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up through the website, or leave your comment right down below this YouTube video. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you all next week.